Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name's Nash. I like to read and talk about all things books, and it is officially Bookmas Day 1. I am absolutely giddy with the content I have planned. Has it been a little stressful already? Yes. Am I really enjoying myself? Yes. But we can't go into our 12 days of Bookmas until I tell you about these 6 books I read in the month of November. 2 of them I was able to knock off my physical TBR. 2 of them are new releases, and 2 of them are advanced listener copies that have been sitting in my NetGalley a little bit too long, but I finally gave them a read. If you like this video and more bookish content, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into the video. To start off the month, I did have a carryover from October, The Wrath of the Fallen by Amber V. Nicole. This is book 4 of the Gods and Monsters series, and probably my most anticipated read of the entire year. I love this book, this series, these characters literally so much. It has been my favorite of all time so far. Since I've gotten back into reading, I literally talk about these characters in this world every single day. And if I don't talk about it every day, I definitely think about it every day. But since it's book 4 in the series, I'm not going to go into anything in the plot, but I will say, what the hell, dude? This book was absolutely incredible. It was a 6-star Infinity Star read. I am kind of getting concerned with how much I genuinely love and care about these characters. I miss Diana and Sam Kyle so much, and I was able to just jump back into this story with no rereads, nothing, because I think about this series all the time. So it was fresh in my brain. It really felt like coming back home when I dove back into this story, especially with the audiobook. I love the progression of the story, and I do think with it being multi POV, it really adds to the impact of everything that's going on. There were definitely discoveries made and tears shed. Nizmira is an absolutely god awful person, and she does not deserve to go to Pound Town, even though in this book she absolutely did. My hatred for Vincent is still absolutely visceral. I know people are just saying forgive him, but I can't do that. I can't give him a redemption arc. He can never be forgiven, in my opinion, because the chain reaction that he set off, I can't forgive you for that, bro. But Caden and Isaiah, specifically Isaiah. Caden, I don't really rock with him. I'm like, okay, cool. If you're going to be helpful, stand over there. But Isaiah, I'm okay with him getting a little bit of a redemption arc because he was just following his brothers at the end of the day. But I need book 5 immediately, because one thing Amber V. Nicole is going to give us is a crazy cliffhanger that makes you fiending and foaming at the mouth for the next book. And that is me, because I read that ending and I was like, wait, what? I definitely wanted to chuck my book. Again, 6-star Infinity Star read. And then one of the audiobooks that I had sitting in my NetGalley that I needed to listen to, Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. I'm so glad I gave this a listen. This is a really great, spooky, and really eerie YA romance. I had a great time with this. It does also give horror vibes, but our main character, Evander, is really like a ghost within the Hazelthorn mansion. Nobody really pays him any mind because he stays in his room. He was taken in by a reclusive billionaire as a child, and for his safety, he has to follow these rules because Homeboy was almost unalived by someone. He doesn't remember anything that happened. He just knows what it felt like to wake up basically with your guts hanging out. This book gave the same eerie settings as One Dark Window, not the same plot by any means, but you know that spooky, weird feeling you get while listening or reading a book like that? It definitely gave those same kind of vibes. It has been a minute since a YA has been able to impress me, but this one kept me engaged and intrigued every step of the way. I thought the audiobook was a really good performance, again, keeping me engaged. I gave this book a 4-star. And the other book that was sitting in my NetGalley just waiting to get a listen, Seventh Blade by Tanya Laird. In this story, Terreli's adoptive son is unalived, and she goes on a hunt to figure out what happened to him. This was a really great revenge/mystery plot. And as a mom myself, I could really appreciate that the FMC was a mom, because there really aren't many books that I've read where the FMC is old enough to have a child and does. But unfortunately, there is some child loss in this. So if that is triggering for you, please, this may not be the story for you. I did think the story was interesting and kept me wondering what was going to happen. However, I do think the lore and overall world building felt extremely flat. The FMC's background as an infamous warrior is really highlighted in the story, but we don't really get any information or backstory as to what they mean by that. They just keep bringing it up. And I really wanted to know more about her history and the history of the world, really, because the magic, everything really just seems straightforward with no real depth to it. I gave this one a 2.75 stars. And the other book I was able to knock off my physical TBR, The Serpent's Bride by Catherine Ann Kingsley. This book definitely made up for the last book. I thoroughly enjoyed this story. It's like a vampire mafia romance where the romance is really a slow burn. And honestly, they go from like enemies to lovers to enemies type vibes. We follow Nadi, and she is a shapeshifter with a bone to pick with the Nostrum family. She finds out that one of them is getting into an arranged marriage and decides to take that woman's place to infiltrate the family to slaughter them all. She wants them all out of there. And I had a blast while reading this. The audiobook was also fantastic. I think the narrators did a great job with this one. I'm a sucker for a vampire romance. I'm a sucker for a mafia. So this blended two of my favorite things. I thought that it was really interesting that Nadi was a shapeshifter. Usually our FMC isn't a shapeshifter with some different type of form. She usually is just like a human girl or someone who turns fae, etc. So I thought that was really unique and really appreciated that as well. I love uniqueness in a story. I love something that I wouldn't be expecting, and this book gave me that. Nadi and the MMC Raziel were badasses in their own kind of way too, which we love somebody who can defend themselves and is going to go hard. I give this book a 5 star. Another series continuation, Thorns and Fire by Helen Schuer. Or sure, I'm not really sure how to say her last name at this point. I need to find out. But this is book 2 of the Ashes of Thesmar series. This is another one of my god tier series. The amount of pining and yearning that Torj does for Ren is immaculate. I literally talk about it all the time. I love him so much. He is one of my top 5 MMCs because Torj would literally do anything for Ren and does anything for Ren. I'm not going to go too much into the plot either, but Torj and Ren, they really be having that push and pull, and I just eat it up. Their banter is amazing. I love that Ren is not just some small, dainty girl. Our girl is a poisoner. She is out there throwing her alchemy, doing her thing. I really enjoyed where the story is taking us and how it is piggybacking off of the Legends of Thesmar series in regards to how those events have changed the world and this new thing is happening because of that. I think it is working perfectly the way that she's blending these two series together. This one, I gave 4.5 stars. And to wrap up my month of November, another highly anticipated release, Brimstone by Callie Hart. This was another one that was everything I was expecting it to be. I loved where the story is going. I feel like in this book, Saris has really leaned into having power and really putting her foot down, which I thought she had so many great one-liners and great put you in your place moments. That is a very big step up from book 1 Saris, which we love her, but Saris is really on her big girl in Brimstone. I love the found family. Oh, it's one of my favorite things. Carrion Swift as a side character. Yes, my boy is absolutely hilarious. The kind of bromance that him and Kingfisher start to develop in this book is growing on me. I think that the court politics also kept me really intrigued. I am a sucker for when you gotta do stuff you don't want to do because it's tradition or because of the politics of everything. I eat that up so much. The spice was amazing. The audiobook was amazing. If you have not read Quicksilver and you're interested, or if you started reading it with your eyeballs and it didn't hit, please try the audiobook. If you got to speed it up, slow it down, do what you got to do. Anthony Palmini as Kingfisher is one of the perfect combinations between narrator and character. He does him so much justice, and I loved it so much. I do think the new additions to the group are amazing. Oh, her Fox Onyx is literally such a cutie. I love when our main character has some kind of animal companion. I think that is just so needed in a high stakes environment. Having you a little animal companion who could be there for you and comfort you in times of need. Oh, I think it's so beautiful. This was a 4.5 star. If you stayed and watched this entire video, thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Bookmas Day 2. Bye guys. See you next time.